Shalom. This is one of those videos that many don't want to hear, but it must be said, it must be understood. Be faithful unto death. This is something that, again, is hard to swallow. This is a tough pill to swallow, but this is what our Mashiach have told us for these last days. For those that, whether you believe or not believe, whether to flee the countries and come back to the Kadash land as he stated and be preserved from the said perils that's coming, Jacob's trouble. Those that do not flee, they will have to be faithful unto death. And I'm gonna start this with Matthew 10. I'm gonna read 16, 21 through 23, and verse 28. In verse 16, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So, we see right here in these last days, we have to be wise. Scripture tells us that those that understand what's going on in the last days will be considered wise. Verse 21 through 23. And the brother shall deliver up the brother unto death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. So we see right here, these are righteous people here. That's what's going to happen during Jacob's trouble. Their own, family members going to cause them to be put to death. And now I'm going to show you this in Micah 7 and 6. It says, for behold, for the son dishonors his father, the daughter rises against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's enemies are the men of his own house. So again, this is a warning that, be aware that your enemies may come from within your own house. So this is something this is a tough pill to swallow, but this is the word. This is what's promised. Everyone is not going to adhere to his word. Everyone's not going to keep his commandments. They're going to hate his covenant. They're going to hate his laws, statutes, and commandments, and they ain't going to have nothing to do with it. And these are the people, again, they are loved ones, but you got to be careful. Going back to Matthew 10. And you shall be hated by all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So this is what's required. You must endure to the end in order to be saved, and that's for all of us. Those that make it out of the countries and into the wilderness, we have to endure till the end, because again, 2/3 will be cut off in the wilderness. Verse 23. But when they persecute you in this city, flee into another. Okay. Here we had the Messiah telling us multiple times, along with scripture, you're going to have to flee. There's a time in your life you're going to have to flee. And right here is proof. I mean, there's how many times the word has to be in there? It just never was a part of our nature to run from anybody. We weren't taught to run from a fight. We was always taught to fight and not run. And this is the problem a lot of people having with this flee thing, but they don't understand the authority that's going to come against them. So here we're being told once again to flee to another. Verily I say unto you, you should not have gone over the cities of Israel until the Son of Man come. Okay, this scripture here, there's people that's left countries and they went into the land of Israel. And this is you're not following the scripture when you do this. And there's some that's just, they have fled and they're right at the borders. They're right at the edge. I mean, they're literally, according to scripture, they're in the land and they don't even realize it. They think they're on the outer areas of Israel. But it says it right here. We are not to go into the land of Israel until the Son of Man come. This is simple. And again, the prophets back that up. I went over those scriptures before. Now, verse 28. It says, "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both the soul and the body in Sheol." So we should know this. This is some things that they taught us when we was in Christianity. We didn't get all lies. There was some truth that they gave us, and they did teach us this. Don't fear man that can destroy your body, but we have to fear him who can destroy both our body and our soul. Now I'm going to Matthew 24, and I'm starting at the 4th verse. And in Matthew 24:4, you're going to hear me say this many times on this channel. I mean, you have to get this. If you don't get anything, you must get this. They was asking the Mashiach, when would these things be, and what would be the sign of his coming? And the first thing he said to them is, take heed that no man deceive you. So we know that there will be a great deception going on. A deception so large, even the very elect will be deceived. What does that mean? These people are going to know they're Israel. They woke. They are awoke. They know what's going on. That's the elect. The ones that don't know who they are, they're not considered the elect. They still sleep. For many will come in my name saying, I'm Mashiach, and shall deceive many. You shall hear wars and rumors of wars. Be not troubled. These things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Same thing the prophets are saying. Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines. One thing you should know following this channel, this is what's coming. Famine is coming, and I'm talking lack of food, no food. And there is no prepping. I'm going to say this again. There is no prepping outside of his land. He's going to protect his people within his borders. And you cannot prep your way out of this. It's impossible. The scripture doesn't say, what scripture does it tells us to prep our way out of this? In pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. These are things we see daily. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. They shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. So again, we're seeing this over and over, and it's going to happen. This is killing. It starts. Jacob's trouble is dealing with the people being killed. And you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Of course, we had the false prophets shall rise up and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So iniquity is lawlessness. Anyone that's without the law, that's iniquity. This is your Christian churches right here. It says in verse 13, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. And so we must endure to the end. This is a message that it's not a popular message. It's not nothing to get happy over, but it is something that we must prepare. And when I say prepare, you have to prepare your mind. If you're not going to trust him to leave those evil, wicked countries, and come back inside of his borders, you're not going to trust him. Then you're going to have to prepare your mind that, okay, the time is going to come when I'm going to have to die for what I believe in. I'm not going to receive any kind of mark of the beast, any kind of chip implanted inside of my body. This is something that everyone going to have to decide. Okay. Now I'm going to Revelations 12. No, Revelations 12 and 11. And they overcame And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. So we can't love our life unto death. Again, if you die in him, you're going to receive your reward. Okay, last scripture here. Revelations 2 and 10 and 11. He says, fear none of those things which you are about to suffer. So this is the Messiah talking here. He's telling us, don't fear those things that we're about to suffer. He said, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, and you may be tried, and you shall have tribulations 10 days. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. So right here, the Mashiach is telling us to be faithful unto death. And that means don't waver in your belief. Don't give in to the temptations of the world. I mean, the temptation is going to be greater than anything they ever seen before in their life. It's again, this is great tribulation. This is Jacob's trouble, and we can say, "Oh, I'm not going to take that mark. I'm not going to fall away." But it's a different story when you're in the situation and there's no food to eat and you are desperate to the point where you would eat your own child. This is what happened before, and it's going to happen again. Verse 11, he that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach said unto the assemblies. He that overcomes shall not be hurt of the second death. And again, if you overcome this, and if you don't love your life unto death, and you give up your life, you won't be hurt in the second death. And this is the reason I had to read this scripture out. This is the importance of the whole message. Now, my thing is this, and I'm being as real and honest as I can be. He's made a way of an escape for us. But if we don't, we get one chance. We get one chance for this escape. And in 70 AD, they had one chance to escape, and many of them failed. But there were some that did escape. He provided a way for us to escape, but it's up to each individual, and it depends on your growth level and how much you believe his word, how much you trust in him. But again, let no one deceive you, and don't love your life unto death, where you have to keep your life. It's better to lose your life. You lose your life, but you save your soul, and that's the whole purpose of this video, to let you know that there's going to come a time when you're going to have to make that decision, and you have to prepare your mind now. Now is the time to start preparing your mind if you're not going to flee. Shalom.